They're society's indiscriminate and silent killers, hiding beneath baggy clothes. They're eating up women and men physically and psychologically. It is estimated that 24 million people worldwide are suffering from an eating disorder. Only 1 in 10 receive the necessary treatment. Anorexia nervosa and bulimia have historically been considered as women's diseases, but research shows that men are increasingly being diagnosed with both disorders.
It is changing. Men are becoming much more vulnerable to these sort of things, and we're seeing an increase in anorexia and bulimia in men as well. And historically it's been a 90% female problem. Now the statistics are changing, and possibly to the extent that there's 40% of new cases of anorexia and bulimia in men rather than women.
Support groups and campaigns are quick to blame the media for the pressure on men and women to look a certain way. Magazines are increasingly filled with workout guides, meal plans, and images of that perfect six-pack. Strongman and bodybuilder Richard Pavey says that the quick fix attitude to losing weight has encouraged people to take supplements and pills without checking the dangers.
You know, you look in all these magazines, it's not just women now that are just trying to lose weight and get a better shape. You've got men doing it all the time. But I think to say whether people know more nowadays than less, I suppose they do because of the internet. But a lot of younger people are taking them and just want that quick fix and don't research what they're doing.
The quick fix attitude has boosted the diet pill industry, especially on the internet, where they are readily available in all shapes, colours and strengths. But the death of medical student Sarah Houston in April after taking the banned substance DNP has put increasing pressure on the government to control the sale of dangerous drugs. However, those in the medical industry feel legislation is not the answer.
You can never control what substances are used for what purpose. So a drug might have 15 effects on the body, and just because someone is using it for its 11th effect, it doesn't necessarily mean that you should make the drug illegal, because it might be useful for other things. You've never in the past been able to buy powerful drugs without a prescription, and so I think that perhaps should be the way that it goes, so that these substances become prescription only.
Perhaps society and our attitude to judging people on what they look like could be held accountable for men wanting to drastically change their body shape.
The ideal that people have kind of rolled in lives which are beyond how they appear has been lost a little bit in the last generation. So I think now we have people who are judged purely by how they look to a much greater extent than has previously been the case.
Fitness instructor and nutritionist Elias Rashid says it's all about the image.
To be honest, it's a lot of vanity, a lot. You even have trainers and people saying, oh, I do this to get strong, or I do this to stay healthy. But when it comes down to looking in the mirror, they all want the muscles, definitely, yeah. I think a lot of guys still have that false thinking that they need muscles or a six-pack to attract women. And then they focus on that. I think that's the relationship behind that.
"26-year-old Will Goldstone has undergone a year process of transforming his body. He says vanity plays a big part of it.
Definitely in the gym you do tend to lift with your ego somewhat, because we're guys, right? That's what we do. We like to lift as much as possible and we have to go as heavy as possible. And it's just sort of an ego thing. You always think you can lift more. You always think you're sort of He-Man in the gym.
Vanity is what drove Richard Pavey to turning to something heavier than just the weight of a car. He admits to taking steroids to boost his strength and his image.
A year after training, I wanted the quick fix. So I got steroids and took them. And the one thing that you can guarantee with steroids, they work. And they work well, and fast. And I liked the look it was giving me. You know, I lost fat, I put on size, I got good shape. You know, I liked what I was seeing the results of, so I've always taken them.
Some would argue that this is not about image at all, but a matter of looking out for your health. William Stafford shuns the idea of taking supplements or pills to get that perfect look.
I don't want to be bigger, I don't want to be smaller. It's one of those things where, it's one of those stereotypes where guys think that girls love muscles, but it's the same in the same sense that girls think guys like skinny girls. The majority of men do not like skinny girls, and the majority of women do not like completely muscle-bound henchmen.
Even those who do carry out intensive regimes have come to realise that their health is more important.
I guess at the start it was definitely about vanity. Obviously, I looked in the mirror and I was like, no, I don't like this. And in society, yeah, you do see these magazines, you walk in like shops every single day. And I guess there is a bit of pressure, yeah. But to be honest, I never really thought of it like that. I always thought of it as just keeping myself as healthy as possible and getting as strong as possible. And it sort of has changed from a vanity thing.
Clinicians believe it's harder to detect because a man eating more food than necessary is not as much of a concern as a woman overeating. They also say that men are less likely to seek treatment for something they consider a female-only disorder.
So what we see are extreme patterns of behaviour in men, and it tends to manifest as excessive exercise and the kind of bodybuilding fringes in a sense where it's about the changing of the body for some sort of almost arbitrary purpose, and sometimes that's an extension of a need to change body imaging in order to raise sort of self-esteem or to change psychological factors.
Studies carried out by research centres and the Government Equalities Office show that women are much more critical of their appearance than men. Men looking in the mirror are more likely to be either pleased with what they see or indifferent. They generally have a much more positive body image than women, with even some men literally not seeing the flaws in their appearance. With all this being said, this is no reason to cover up the real existence and danger of male anorexia and bulimia. Alicia de Haldevang, City News International.